I will not be so brief. My life changed forever on Thursday, April 10th, 1986, when Donna gave birth to Catherine Lucille Zerazinski Van Bronckhorst. The first 48 hours were full of unmitigated joy at having brought a healthy baby girl into our world. When we brought her home from the hospital on Saturday, I vividly remember sitting on our couch, holding her, and feeling a huge sense of responsibility and abject fear wash over me. How were we going to survive the next 18 years until this beautiful child could fend for herself? 18 years. Eventually, I recovered from the fear, and Donna recovered from the terror of childbirth in time to do it all over again when we were blessed with the addition of Michael in 1988. Our family was complete. As a young girl, Katie watched the Disney classic Cinderella over and over and over. As with most young girls, this created visions in her head about someday finding her own Prince Charming. Naturally, as a father, I had my own ideas about what this prince should be like. Our ideals did not necessarily jive. I remember the first boyfriend Katie introduced us to in high school. I believe his name was Chris. I would describe him as a sort of skater punk bad boy who did not own his sport coat. Rebecca, you know. I made my feelings known. You can probably guess how that went over with Katie. Eventually, she moved on to another high school boy, who I believe was named David. Tall and handsome, he played basketball and sang in a choir. I swooned over this boy and constantly encouraged such things as inviting him over for dinner. This didn't go over well either. Although this happened sometime in 2003, this would be the last boy she would even mention to me for the next dozen years. Over those 12 years, however, Katie morphed into Kate and became a confident and talented young woman and business professional. What amazes me about Kate is how she is such a unique blend of all the significant people who have played a role in her life. And so many of them are here tonight. At the top of that list is her mother, Donna. Kate not only got her mother's good looks, but also her qualities of grace and compassion, as well as her love of decorating and entertaining. I am assuming I had something to do with Kate's love of the San Francisco Giants, as well as maybe influencing her career path a little. And let's not forget Tower of Power. Naturally, there's a lot of Grandma Z and Papa in Kate as well, especially in terms of the value Kate places in family, not to mention basketball. The Z's are a big reason why Kate moved back to Portland when she did. I will be forever sorry that my parents could not be part of this evening, for they helped shape Kate too. I attribute Kate's love of books to my mother, as well as instilling in Kate the notion that women deserve an equal voice. And I know that some of Kate's business acumen comes from my dad, along with her love of wine and dominance. Kate's brother Michael, of course, had a huge effect on Kate being who she is today. He also gave her a good understanding of what she would be getting herself into once she got serious about men. Uncles, aunts, and cousins from both my family and Donna's also played a huge role in who Kate has become, and there are many of them here tonight. Not to mention families like the Morgans and Klauses, the Scotts, the Kleins, and so many high school, sorority, and work friends who contributed to the quilt that is Kate. Needless to say, I could not be prouder of the woman Kate has become. I love you. As Kate neared her 30th birthday, I began to wonder again about the existence of young men in her life. Soon I began to hear snippets about weekend plans in Portland or San Francisco with a friend. As the months went on, the friend somehow found a name. Thaddeus. Thaddeus, I said. Does he go by Thad? I asked naively. Oh, his friends call him Thad, but he prefers Thaddeus, was Kate's reply. Oh, okay then. I envisioned a Roman god with... I envisioned a Roman god with flowing blonde locks, wearing a dusty robe while throwing lightning bolts from the back of a chariot. Thaddeus! Kate's weekend rendezvous with Thaddeus continued until one day in late 2016 when Kate mentioned that they would be in San Francisco together for Thanksgiving, and perhaps we could join them for dinner the day after. Since we planned to be in the city that weekend anyway, we quickly agreed. This must be a serious candidate, I exclaimed to Lori, who shot daggers into me with both eyes. On the Friday after Thanksgiving, we stood in the lobby of the Fairmont Hotel and waited for the son of Spartacus to arrive. Precisely on time, they entered the building. So much for the flowing blonde locks. Instead, I was presented with a tall, striking young man with flame-colored hair who, much to my delight, was wearing not only a sport coat, but a pocket square. I was immediately impressed by his firm handshake and how he looked me directly in the eye while saying, "Nice to meet you, Mr. Van Bronckhorst," with perfect pronunciation. We seated the ladies on the nearest sofa and headed for the bar. Once there, he continued to curry my favor by ordering champagne for Kate and a proper old-fashioned for himself. Ever gracious, he even allowed me to pay for the drinks. Could this be the prince? It looked promising, but I did not want to jump to conclusions. However, about 90 minutes later, I knew he was the one. When the waiter took our dinner order, Kate and Lori and I ordered the 4-course chef's menu. Thaddeus, on the other hand, ordered the 5-course meal so that he could also visit the cheese trolley. I knew immediately that I could now begin working on this speech. Of course, Rome wasn't built in a day, and Roman gods don't move too quickly either. It was exactly 2 years later, in 2018, again at Thanksgiving, that Thaddeus got his ducks in a row, so to speak. He found a job in Portland, settled in, and was now prepared to take the next logical step. Another day after Thanksgiving dinner was planned in San Francisco, this time to meet his parents. Could an engagement announcement be imminent? I will say that during this long 2 years of waiting, I was afforded the opportunity to get to know Thad. I believe I may now call you Thad, yes? Okay. And learn what a remarkable young man he is. He also is an amazing blend of the family and friends he grew up with. Like his father Tom, Thad is pragmatic, analytical, and thoughtful, and he's great with a spreadsheet. Like his mother Lois, Thad is warm and engaging and has his own independent entrepreneurial spirit. Thad has a tremendous love of the outdoors, which he got from both his parents. Like Kate, Thad also has a multitude of aunts, uncles, and cousins, most of whom are here tonight. Through them, and like them, Thad has become a firmly grounded and sincere young man who places great value on family, traditions, and bands with horn sections. I love you, Thad. A few days before meeting his parents last November, I received a telephone call from Thad. The telephone call. The one I'd been expecting for 2 years. Although ready to eagerly hand Kate over to this exemplary young man, I was determined to make him sweat just a bit. While the full contents of our conversation will forever remain a secret between us, I did ask a couple of questions to see if he truly knew who Kate was and what made her tick. His answers proved to me that he not only knew my daughter very well, but that they were a perfect match for each other. I enthusiastically gave him my blessing and awaited the engagement, which came the day after we had dinner with Tom and Lois. And now here we are. It seems ironic to me that two kids who grew up only 3 miles from each other in the late 80s didn't connect until just a few years ago when they lived in separate states. But fate works in mysterious and wonderful ways, and I am grateful for that. As a parent, I could not be happier for this marriage between two kindred souls who share so much in common while each retaining some individual interests. In fact, my only regret about this marriage is that wedding protocol in America calls for the bride to take the groom's name. This makes me sad because I think Thaddeus Joseph Zarazinski Van Bronckhorst would have been one of the world's greatest ever names. Fortunately, I have a grandson who can carry on the VV name for at least another generation. Meanwhile, tonight I ask you to join me in raising a glass to the newest power couple in athletic apparel and footwear. Here's to the Van Scannels.